Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Commander Tony Russell with the Unified Command. Our speakers to today's conference are Governor Riley, Rear Admiral Mary Landry, and Doug Suttles from British Petroleum. Again, we're going to be doing prepared remarks, and we'll be following up with Q&A from the room, from the phone. 10 minutes each. I ask you to keep your questions to one, and I'll identify the questioner when we get to that session. Thank you very much, Governor Riley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have just gotten back from a helicopter tour. It gave us an opportunity to look at all of the resources that we have at our disposal now being placed and implemented. Let me phrase it this way. It's a great thing that we have a few more days now to make sure that we get all of the boom, all of the barricades in place, but it is going up very, very rapidly. I think we put out about 800,000, or need about 800,000 feet of boom in our barricades. We're doing about 100 to 150,000 feet per day. So if we can get 3 or 4 days behind us, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape here. But I want to thank all the people who have worked so diligently and so hard over the last 4 or 5 days. This truly is a team effort, and I think as long as we see this oil spill continuing to diminish, it gives us much more confidence that we're going to be able to control it. So, Admiral, let me tell you how much I appreciate all of your help. Doug, yours. General here, we went over, what are these barriers called? ESCO? ESCO barriers. We've got about 200 soldiers down on Dolphin Island that are putting these up, and they're probably some of the more effective preventative measures that I've seen. I asked Admiral just a moment ago if we can figure out a way to get some more of those, because they really do a job of a level of protection, but I'm not too sure that we'll see with the boom. With everything that we have going on now, dispersants, boom placement, we've ramped that up to about twice the size it was, with the ability to have the resources continue to come in as quickly as they have, and with the Alabama National Guard supplementing the personnel requirements, I really do think we can get there as long as the weather will cooperate.
Thank you, and it's really great to be here. Thank you, Governor Riley. I came in from Roberts, Louisiana, where our area command post is, and I just wanted to come out and thank Captain Steve Poulin and his team. Captain Steve Poulin is the Federal On-Scene Coordinator's rep here, and he's doing a tremendous job. We've been in constant contact with the governors, with the field command post, to just make sure we are leaning ahead and preparing for this potential oil spill reaching the shore. I want to assure you, since day one, we have been approaching this as a potential worst-case scenario. We have done this since the lessons learned in Exxon Valdez. I also want to assure you that we have been in contact with and have the support of the President, Secretary Napolitano. You all may have heard Admiral Allen's been named the National Incident Commander. What this means is we have the national team paying attention and planning and standing by to support us. I'm a regional commander, if you will, but I've got the Gulf Coast states' responsibilities on my mind. We've been at this for several days, and if you could figure out a concept of federal, state, local, and private sector collectively coming together to attend to an issue that threatens our species, our way of life. We have to, what I applaud Steve Poulin and the team here for is, I know they've been in touch with your communities. I know they understand your needs in Alabama. I know they're paying attention to Mississippi and the panhandle of Florida. They're working with your team side by side, and I certainly applaud the National Guard. It's a great capacity we can bring for surge. It's absolutely necessary in times like this. We have years of working together. But no matter how much we plan, train, or respond, there are novelties to this situation that are going to challenge us. and we have to take the collective capacity that we bring together to meet this challenge. So I just wanted to come out and thank you for the hard work you've done till now. We do have a gift of time. It's a gift of a little bit of time, but I'm not resting, and we're keeping the pressure on ourselves to make sure we're not falling behind at all, and that we meet your needs, Governor. And you know you can call me, and you know you can call Admiral Allen, and you know you can talk to the Secretary and the President if you need to, and you'll have their support. So thank you.
Thanks, Admiral Landry. What I'd like to do is give the normal update I give every day on how the operations are going, but I thought today I'd start with what we're doing in the community, and I'd just start with a small story. I was here yesterday as well in Mobile, and I had to stop on the way to go to the airport to buy a toothbrush, actually. And I went in a Walgreens store, and a large man was behind me in the line, and I was on the phone, and he said, "Are you here with the oil spill?" And I said I was, and he said, "Are you going to get it?" And I said I was, and he said, "I hope so, because I don't want you to mess up my shrimp." And then he shook his finger at me and said, "And if you do, I'm going to come find you." So I understand that. I want you to understand that whether it's at BP or with the Coast Guard and everyone out here, we all are about getting this thing closed down, stopping the flow, minimizing the impact, and actually keeping the public informed. We've been focusing a lot on, obviously, the first two activities, but in terms of what we're doing with the community, I just wanted to share a few things. Yesterday we mentioned that we had individuals in the states come to us and say they had resources in their area contingency plan that they could unleash if they had confidence the money would be there to pay for it and there wouldn't be a lot of bureaucracy on unleashing those. So we announced $25 million block grants to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida as a way to unlock that, to cut through the red tape, to make sure people knew if they applied resources, those resources would be paid for. And I'm confident that that's going to make a difference. In the area of volunteers, we've had over 10,000 people volunteer to help. We've trained over 3,500 of those volunteers. Those volunteers, I want to be clear, we actually pay them. Some people have refused the money, and I understand that, but we actually pay those people to help us clean this up. In terms of what we call vessels of opportunity, which is using boats from the communities in which this spill is having an impact, we've had over 1,000 applications for boats to join the program. We've already got 500 boats in the program, and the difference between those numbers is getting boats inspected so we make sure they can go out and perform, and that's an activity the Coast Guard performs. In addition, we've accessed over 160 local businesses as well. We recognize this is more than an environmental concern, but also an economic one. One other activity that just occurred yesterday in Pensacola and in Biloxi, over 1,000 people showed up to do what we call pre-cleaning beaches. That's one of the things we know can minimize the impact from a spill, is to get the debris off the beach before it shows up. And I think these are just great indicators of how the public is so interested. This is their home, these are their communities, and they want to make sure the impact is minimized. We had the first report of oil coming toward shore this morning at Chandelier Island in Louisiana. To give you a sense of our ability to respond, we launched 22 vessels. 12 of those were shrimp boats and 10 of those were response vessels, and they've been in the area ever since trying to locate that oil and make sure it actually doesn't reach shore. That last report, which was a couple hours ago, they had not actually located any oil coming to shore at that time. Subsea side of our operation, we started an activity we've talked about several times, which is putting dispersants down at the point of the leak. That activity's been going on for several days now in a test frame. Now that we have some good weather and can get overflights and good satellite images, we're very hopeful that this is going to be an effective tool, and hopefully we'll be able to declare that later today. We've also described that we have 3 points of leak. We've made some progress on one of those 3. In fact, the video being shown on my left, your right, is actually a video of an operation we've been performing over the last 2 days. We actually cut off the end of this piece of pipe, designed and engineered a valve to put over the top of that, and later today we hope to close that valve, which will mean we'll have gone from 3 points of leak to 2. But I do want to make sure we manage your expectations and your perceptions here. I don't believe that will change the total amount of oil being leaked, but it does mean we will go from 3 leak points to 2, which is some progress. In addition, and as the Governor and the Admiral have already described, we continue to make progress to both lay boom and protect the shoreline and mobilize if oil comes ashore that we're able to clean that up. So with that, I'm happy to stop, and I know we're all happy to take questions.
Mobile registered today said that the federal government did not have a single fire boom on hand, despite a 1994 Gulf oil spill response plan that called for immediate deployment of fire booms. And the article said that the spill could have been contained at the accident scene 100 miles from shore if these fire booms were available. I wonder if you could respond to that. Is that accurate? Is it accurate that there were no fire booms? Why were there no fire booms? And if there were fire booms available, would that have been able to contain the spill that far offshore? I think that's probably a question more for the federal government than it is for BP.
Yeah, the responsible party is absolutely supposed to have all the resources at its disposal commercially. I think we can give a timeline and talk about this fire boom. Understand that when the incident occurred, you had an active search and rescue case going. So the Modu sank, and you had an active search and rescue case going. You had resources coming to the field. You basically, we could develop a timeline and share that with you. I think we need to answer your question better. But I will tell you that it's a pre-approved protocol. We did a test burn as soon as as we had the boom, and we did a test burn, a controlled burn. It worked very well. We have been in and out of weather windows that do not allow us to burn, but we are doing another burn, a controlled burn today. We have plenty of fire room. We are actively using that as a tool in the toolkit, and we'll continue to provide you information about how we deploy these tools.
Now, as the weather improved, did you have a chance to do some flyovers? Do you have an estimate of how much oil is there on the surface? How much is spilling? And what's the projected trajectory? Where will it go? Thank you.
Well, the good news is we do have good weather. We forecast good weather all week, which should allow us to make good progress offshore, as well as around shore, to do things like laying boom. And actually, we have to get out and repair boom that was damaged in the weather the last few days. In terms of our sense of the size of the spill, our overflight data has just come in. We don't yet have an updated map. We usually get those late in the evening and issue those in the morning. So I don't have an accurate estimate yet of the size of the spill. We'll have that tomorrow morning. Yeah, I guess the Admiral just was making the point that actually it's still offshore. The only report is the one near Chandelier Island, which hasn't been confirmed as onshore. Yeah, the trajectory maps we publish, we have those out on our website. Right now, we're actually not showing landfall over the next 3 days.
And understand, we should probably clarify, leading edge shoreline impact is going to be sheen. The heavy pockets of emulsified oil we are tracking. So we do a first morning overflight matched with satellite. We did send 10 SCAT teams, what are called teams, out this morning because we thought we had some potential oil and leading edge rainbow sheen in the Chandelier Islands. Got a report while I'm on my way here that they have not found any oil. So the satellite imagery, the overflight, you're looking for leading edge rainbow sheen and emulsified oil, but we'll hit it hard. We're continuing to watch for that kind of impact. And I apologize that we don't have our graphics here. That we'll bring them next time as we travel, because we usually share with people 3 days worth of trajectories to show you that what everybody might logically think is it's moving closer, and it must be closer. Not necessarily. We have found that where we thought we were going to have impact last Friday night and Saturday, the winds, the current shifted it, and the next thing you know, we have been given what I call a gift of time. A gift of time as it moves around and stays farther offshore to allow us to continue very aggressive, very, very robust resources And I was pleased to see the National Guard testing a boom strategy right here to consider protecting oyster beds. There's a lot of hard work going on, and I know in this area you are doing a lot of preparation with your strategies under the leadership of Captain Poulin. Keith is from BP. They're here and they're hitting it with a team of people from the whole of government. Let's not forget we have federal agencies, state agencies, local communities, private sector. This is everybody here working hard together to prepare for this.
Yeah, this is Sarah from the Associated Press. I was wondering, you mentioned a control burn later today. I was wondering if you could give us an update into specific details on that burn and any future burns you might have planned, as well as updates on skimmers and other methods to control the oil.
So when we use burning as a technique, when we're offshore, we have a number of tools we can utilize. We use dispersants applied by aircraft, and I think right now we have 4 C-130 Hercules aircraft that can spray dispersants. We actually also have 3 DC-3 aircraft that can do it as well. In addition, we have skimmers, and the skimmer fleet is back offshore. They had come in when the weather was rough. We need seas below about 4 feet to skim. We're back in those conditions. And of course, we can also use burning as a technique. What we're expecting to see, we did the first test burn was about 100 barrels of oil. The teams offshore believe they can hopefully corral between 500 and 1,000 barrels at a time and use that as a technique. So we need to see what they accomplish there. I know the weather is very good offshore today. In fact, almost no wind at all, which is very helpful. So let's see what they accomplish. They'll be doing that this afternoon. That's the size they attempt to. We'll have to see what they accomplish.
Hey there, Jessica Trelawney with WKRG News 5. I know you mentioned that you don't have a trajectory of where this is headed, but Governor, you just flew over it. Can you tell us at least how far offshore it is, both off Alabama and then Mississippi and Louisiana?
No, I really can't because we didn't go out that far. The only thing that we're trying to do right now is go back and recalculate whether or not we're going to be able to put all the preventative measures in place in the time that's available. And it is going to mean that we're going to have to modify our plan somewhat, but I still think it can be done. And most of the flight today was just over. The estuaries, looking at the entrances and exits of each one of those, and looking at how we can protect the beach. So we didn't go out that far.
If I may just follow up then real quick, I mean, are we thinking 30 miles, 40 miles? Is there any?
The number I looked at this morning was at least 20 miles offshore, 20 miles offshore of Alabama.